smirk and laugh, focus on me, thinking that shit is fun. Whoa, slap the taste out of you. Let's get it poppin'. Let's get it poppin'.
Fatality.
Good evening, folks. Freddie Vasquez. The Tasha Diaz comments. Let's talk about the complaint filed by Councilwoman Corazon Pineda Isaac.
Let's get it poppin'.
Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Hope you're all doing well tonight. This evening, I want to go over the comments made by Majority Leader Tasha Diaz, who I've spoken about often on my podcast, right? Because she gives a lot of content. Early this morning, the Yonkers Ledger released an article regarding violent threats made by Majority Leader Tasha Diaz to her colleague, Councilwoman Corazon Pineda Isaac of the 2nd District. Some of the comments were recorded, as I played on the intro there, and some were witnessed or overheard by others. Tasha is alleged to have said, "I will slit that B's throat," and can be heard in a recording saying, "I will slap the effing taste out her mouth." As a result, Councilwoman Pineda Isaac has filed formal complaints with Human Resources head Carlos Moran, and in a 2-page letter detailing the violent threats, which can be seen as death threats to me. You say you're going to slit someone's throat. I don't think they're going to be alive after that. You're basically saying, I'm going to murder that person. And so what are they going to do about it? Are there going to be any consequences? Let's go over the letter that Tasha Diaz, that Majority Leader Corazon Pineda Isaac submitted to Human Resources. Letter is dated January 24th. The city of Yonkers has been my employer for the last 10 years. And for the most part, it's been a job that I love and cherish. As the councilwoman of the 2nd District in the city of Yonkers, you must understand how difficult it is to have to write this letter. However, I feel that I cannot remain silent any longer. The workplace in the city of council has become extremely hostile, and I must ask that necessary measures must be taken to remedy this situation. This ongoing problem was first documented on May 6, 2022, when I emailed Majority Leader Tasha Diaz directly about comments I personally heard her make about me. In that email, I detailed inappropriate remarks she was making about me to her staff member, Brenton Bullock, who has since been fired. The email, which I will attach to this communication, quotes the Majority Leader as she criticizes my wardrobe, calls me a backwards B for being cold during the summer months, and most alarming, made a violent threat against me by stating she would smack the taste out of my mouth. I took the approach of addressing it principle to principle in hopes that it would be enough for Majority Leader Diaz to take the necessary steps to correct her behavior. That did not happen. Instead, the behavior was continued and worsened. Here are a few instances. On July 19th, 2023, I attended an event at Spanglish in my capacity as a council member, as I was there to present a proclamation to the presidents of the Yonkers Vulcan Society and the Guardians Association. It was made aware to me by fellow attendees and police officers that as soon as I walked in, the Majority Leader became enraged by my presence. At one point, the Majority Leader even stated that since I had walked in with my sister and multiple cousins, that she too could call in her cousins and be ready for a physical altercation. Imagine being at a work event and not realizing there's potential danger to me and my family for just being there. Most recently, former council president Chuck Lesnick attended the mayor's menorah lighting at City Hall on December 13, 2023. Mr. Lesnick attempted to discuss a personal matter with the majority leader and offered advice as a former member of the council. Majority Leader Diaz once again became enraged, assumed that I was responsible for Mr. Lesnick's action, and proceeded to ask him, did that B, Corazon, put you up to this? Majority Leader Diaz had no regard for guests that were at City Hall, for the city of Yonkers employees, or respect for the workplace to not use such vile language when referring to me. On January 2nd, 2024, the council convened to vote on our new set of rules. I was honest on the floor about my reasons for not supporting the majority leader for her leadership role. As you are aware, Commissioner, I am within my rights to vote as I choose. Professional disagreements should not result in violent threats, which create, at the very least, a hostile workplace. However, that is what transpired at the conclusion of that meeting. My colleagues on the council and some of the staff witnessed the majority leader of the Yonkers City Council, the third largest city of New York, say that she was going to slit my throat. Imagine how I felt being made aware of that. Imagine coming to work and having to sit next to someone who has made such violent remarks. When will this come to an end? When she actually physically harms me or someone else? I am not the first or the last person to have fallen victim to the majority leader Diaz's behavior. I am just the first person to perhaps document it. I strongly believe that majority leader Diaz is at a breaking point, and her behavior is only going to continue to get worse and more dangerous. Commissioner Moran, I respectfully ask that the necessary steps be taken to fix this. Everyone should feel safe and comfortable at work. In this moment, and for quite some time, I have not. Corazon, Pineda, Isaac. So what will be done? How will human resources respond to that? Are they hoping that it just blows over? I mean, at some point, something must be done, right? Something has to be done. This isn't one isolated incident. In fact, in one city council meeting during Tasha's initial appointment to majority leader, former councilwoman and current county legislator Shanae Williams list several instances when Ms. Diaz has verbally threatened and assaulted colleagues and residents alike. Let's take a look at that video. This is from a city council meeting. Where'd it go? That took place, I believe, in 2021 when they were doing the reorganization at that
public meetings in her district.
And Shanae Williams opposed the appointment of Tasha Diaz as majority leader, and so did Corazon, and that's what pissed off.
She has threatened me in the council.
Tasha Diaz. So let's hear what Shanae Williams has to say.
She has threatened me on the council chamber floors when discussing why she would not vote for more affordable housing. She has called the commissioner the C word. She has threatened Councilman Rubo and Councilman Pineda Isaac by saying she will F them up on several occasions. She has cursed during public meetings in her district when communicating with residents. She has cursed out the Parks Commissioner. She has cursed out the Deputy Mayor. As chair of the Education Committee, Councilman Diaz did little to quell tensions between parents and the Yonkers Public Schools during this ongoing pandemic. These are not signs of what I would associate with the best person for the job of majority leader.
So how did she become the majority leader once again? And you don't have to take the word of these officials for it. We've seen it many times. You can go on YouTube right now and you can see videos of Tasha Diaz at public meetings in the chambers going off on people. Remember when she called constituents beggars? Beggars, because they would come to the majority leader for assistance, helping to feed the homeless and those who are having food insecurities, the people that she brags about helping all the time. But in reality, she really thinks of them as beggars. Tasha Diaz didn't come up with a silver spoon. In fact, she currently lives in affordable housing. Many question, how is she able to maintain that apartment when she has gotten promotion after promotion? She should probably not qualify for it, yet and still she maintains that apartment. Someone who knows how to struggle or what it is to struggle, who hasn't had, all the material things in the world at one point, should be more empathetic and sympathetic to people who are in need and should not refer to them as beggars. But since becoming a councilwoman and then the majority leader, she has this feeling that she's like the queen. She can get whatever she wants. She can do whatever she wants. And if she has a problem with you, she's going to go after you. She's going to verbally attack you, threaten you verbally and physically. There have been reports that Tasha Diaz physically assaulted her own stepdad in the lobby of Jefferson Terrace. This was told to me by city officials. And in fact, I think that there's some people looking into it and will be also putting that story out soon. But this was not only told to me by city officials, but her own family, that she attacked her own stepdad, assaulting him over some money and family dispute. Yet and still, this woman is still representing a large portion of the city in District 3 and is still holding the title of majority leader. How does she have such power? How does she get away with it all? Well, we have to look at who are the individuals that are behind Tasha Diaz. Who got Tasha Diaz elected in the first place? Someone like Tasha Diaz would never have had a chance if it weren't for her campaign managers, Zahi Jarris and his son, Frank Jarris. Zahi Jarris has a reputation of corrupting elected officials here in the city of Yonkers. He went to jail for it 4 years. He once corrupted the majority leader in 2010, causing her to change her vote on an important real estate deal that was happening, the Ridge Hill deal. That led to an investigation, and they found that she had been bribed with money, with gifts, with cars, and even payments of her student loans and bills in order for her to change her vote. And so if you're paying attention to what's happened recently with Tasha Diaz, you have to wonder, is there a Sandy and Nabi 2.0 going on here? Remember in 2021, Tasha Diaz, who was supporting the new affordable housing ordinance, the increase that would have put it from 10% to 20%, she supported it. She was for it. She was one of the three that initially introduced it. But when it came down to getting it passed, she flipped. She changed her vote. And she gave this crazy reason for it. And in fact, that's when I first saw Tasha Diaz, the wild woman that she really is. That's where she was saying,
let's get it popping. We're going to leave it where it is. Let's vote on this. Let's get it popping. Like I said, political games that are being played. You can apply.
Political games that are being played. Let's get it popping. She's talking to other council members. She was referring to specifically Shanae Williams and Corazon Pineda Isaac that day. And in the recent term extension meeting, she created this big chaotic melee that resulted in Hector Santiago being arrested and punched in the face. And the whole place just went wild. No one was held responsible. None of the council members, I should say, was held responsible. Tasha Diaz did not apologize, did not have empathy or any sympathy for the fact that she created this chaos, causing a big commotion in the hallway, which led to an activist, Hector Santiago, the man that created the Stop and Shake program to build a good relationship between the community and the police, was being sent to jail. Now he's currently suing. And he also ran against Tasha, though he did not win, but he was hoping to take her out. So why did she get any consequences then? She went off, called people beggars. No one held her responsible for it. So how does Tasha Diaz get away with all that? Right? So Tasha Diaz is a very nasty person. And I'm not being personal. I'm not being, I'm not trying to attack. But the reality is she's probably one of the most, if not the most corrupt council member there. A lot of the corruption that probably takes place within our city leads back to Tasha and her team. Remember, she recently tried to award her campaign manager, the individual that I'm talking about, a no-bid city contract. And it wasn't if it wasn't because of the city council president, Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, they might have gotten away with that. So it's time for something to be done here. The people of the city of Yonkers, we should be embarrassed. We should be ashamed of our government. This stains our city. This brings a bad reputation to our city. I mean, this is reaching all the way to the UK. She's made it to the internationally. This was recently, it was recently posted also on the Post here. I just want to go over some of these comments. Someone said, so I guess her new nameplate should read Tasha Diaz. This is on the New York Post. Third worlders are our strength. So they're, now tying this in with what's happening nationally and, the whole issues that people have with Democratic Party now and the border crisis. Nice to see such high quality people in all levels of New York government. Welcome to the ghettoization of America. So she's giving, a certain group of people also a bad name. She represents Black women and she's doing a horrible job at it. And it's sad that it's Black women, minority women that are having these issues. Corazon Pineda Isaac is a Dominican woman, has African blood in her. Tasha Diaz, although has the last name of Diaz, is not technically Latina. She's Black, African-American. Her husband is a Latino. She changed her name to Diaz to appeal to a more Latino base. And these are who our young Black and Latina women have to look up to. This is how a Black woman speaks to another woman of color. You would think that we have 4 women of color in the council, that would be something to be celebrated. And unfortunately, this is the legacy that's going to be left behind. Yonkers sounds like a great place to live, says one person. I lived in Yonkers for many years. Diaz is typical PR that lives there. No class and lots of violence. But she looks like such a nice politician, says Carol. Cut that bee and her raptor fingernails loose. What is that again about Hispanics and switchblades? So again, you see the racist comments. People are hurling at Latinos now and Blacks because of the way Tasha Diaz is representing herself, because of her behavior on the city council. Someone that came from nothing, that had to struggle, should be setting a better example, leading the way for other Black women and Latino women to follow. But instead, she's self-serving. She's greedy. She's unstable, violent, aggressive, extremely abrasive, unprofessional. And that's just being nice. Surprise, somebody says, surprise. So you can see those comments on the New York Post if you want to read. There are a lot more. And it just makes me sad. It just, 4 Black women, 4 women of color, I should say. You have Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, the city council president from Cottage, right? Grew up poor. You have Corazon Pineda Isaac, a Dominican woman, a Latina. You have Tasha Diaz. And then you had Shanae Williams, but she was went up to the county and she was replaced by her former aide or her current legislative aide up at the county, Deanna Robinson, another woman of color. Deanna, you're new to all of this. You should work on setting a much better example than the women of color who came before you have set. Hopefully you can lead the change in the council. And there's, some things you got to do, clean up your image a little bit. Just be careful of the things you post on social media. They're always going to get to Freddie Vasquez, Deanna. Just saying, just giving you some advice. But it's a shame. And how does that make us look? And what do other people outside of our culture, outside of our race think? Right? It's unfortunate. No more Black people in office. No more Latinos in office. Look what's going on. They're making violent threats to each other. They're causing a chaos within the city council chambers during important meetings, taking the focus off what needs to be paid attention to, like The fact that they are extending terms for a second time, that should have been the focus. But instead, all we think about is Tasha Diaz calling people beggars, Hector Santiago being punched in the chin and arrested, and the city council president airing out her beef with me. Sorry. Didn't mean to cause quite a scene there. But when is enough going to be enough? Will there be any consequences? Will there be an investigation into some of the unethical and possibly illegal things that she has been doing as councilwoman? Some of the things that she's been tied to with the building department and developers? She's not there for the people. And she made a lame excuse. She wrote that, and she didn't write this, I guarantee you, but she said that she was speaking hyperbolically. And if she offended anyone, she apologized. If she offended anyone. I think a lot of people were offended. Most certainly Corazon Pineda Isaac was offended and felt threatened and feared for her safety. Overall, the Black community, the Latina community, and the entire community of the city of Yonkers is offended, Tasha. So yes, you did offend people. You offended damn near everybody. Not sure if you care or not. But you offended people. And to say that you were speaking hyperbolically, really? Do you know what that means? Do you know what a hyperbole is? It's an exaggeration. So what were you intending on saying when you said, I'll slit that bitch's throat? Were you meaning that you're just going to tap her throat? You're just going to scratch her throat? I mean, what were you exaggerating? What did you mean to say? But that's the response that she gave in reference to this. And that came from not herself, but individuals that are around Tasha Diaz that pretty much put her there to be a puppet, to get whatever legislation they want either introduced and or passed, and to do other things that benefit certain individuals who are the funders of Tasha Diaz. Because again, there's no way she would have been able to get herself elected. There's no way. Because she has a team of seasoned political consultants who do a damn good job at making sure they win elections. And they've been doing that for a very long time. And they need people like Tasha, people who don't know what hyperbole means. They're easier to manipulate. All they care about is looking good, getting their nails done, wearing 2-finger gold rings and long chains, wearing name brand boots while living in affordable housing. Typical ghetto queen. So regardless if you can take Tasha Diaz out the ghetto, you can never take the ghetto out of Tasha. You managed to make it somewhere that most people will never make it, Tasha, and you blew it. Because again, you don't have the capabilities of understanding what it is that you are doing. You don't have the capabilities of realizing how important of a role you have and how much you can actually do if you cared more about just yourself. And I know you're the one that's responsible for a lot of people's problems, including mine. Not just you, but you and your team. Group of individuals that support you, like the Yonkers Newswire and the Yonkers Voice, who for whatever reason doesn't seem to want to cover this much. I know you were the one responsible for helping get my wife fired. You are the chair of the education committee. The chair of the education committee speaking in that manner. Maybe she shouldn't be the majority leader anymore. Maybe she shouldn't chair any committees. That comes with a $15,000 stipend additional to their salary. What has she done? for the educational system here in the city of Yonkers besides attempt to award a campaign supporter, a close friend, a multi-million-dollar contract to put bulletproof windows in all the school buildings. That also should be investigated. The chair of the education committee, who cannot manage to put a decent sentence together, and the only way she can express her displeasure is by violently yelling and cursing at people. That's who is the chair of the education committee. What does that say about our educational system? So it's time for Tasha Diaz to get up out of there, folks. I mean, it's a joke already. It's seriously a joke, and it's an embarrassment to the entire city of Yonkers. It's an embarrassment to our government. It's an embarrassment. And if they do nothing, then we know. I said a lot. I'm urging every Yonkers resident to write your council member requesting the removal of Tasha Diaz from the office of majority leader. She does not have the emotional maturity, decorum, or character to be a leader, but she should resign. She should be charged. Even when I wanted to, physically hurt Ruros, right, because of what he's done to my family, I've never told him I wanted to slit his throat. I've never threatened to do anything physically to him. So why would she go to such extremes with her language? When you write or email your council member, be sure to copy the Yonkers City Clerk. When she was helping Virginia Perez's campaign, I saw her attempt to physically attack members of the other campaign in the street in front of the Yonkers Public Library downtown. This was 5-6 years ago. I mean, this is a woman whose own daughter had to get an order of protection against her. Her own daughter. How many order of protections did Tasha have on her? Tell me, how many?
Let's get it popping. Let's get it popping.
A public figure in the council threatened another city council member's life. Why is she not suspended or removed from her position? Exactly. Remember the guy that made threats to Mayor Mike Spano? Well, the FBI investigated that and he was arrested. I mean, is that not the same thing? I'm not a lawyer. But technically, Corazon Pineda Isaac is a council member, a government official. Regardless of who's making the threat, it's still being made to a government official. Is there no investigation into that? Governor Kathy Hochul can remove Tasha from office, but the council can remove her as majority leader. Well, I think the people should be able to remove her from office. And I think if we get enough signatures, if we call out for something to be done, if we go to these meetings, if we protest and say we demand this violent individual be removed from our city council, not only because she's violent and a threat and danger to other colleagues and council members and even residents, but because she is corrupt. She is managed by corrupt individuals. It's not something I'm alleging. It's all over the internet. Her campaign management team has been known for corrupting political officials. The FBI found the evidence. The FBI convicted them. Now they're back doing the same thing with Tasha Diaz. That needs to be investigated by the Yonkers IG. Folks, really quick, I want to talk about the salaries. I know a lot of people were outraged, right? Before I mention the salaries, I want to say this. This is from the 2023 budget report. Revenues from real property taxes increased by $1.93 million. This was due to an increase in the tax levy of $8.42 million, partially offset by a decrease in a prior year's taxes of $3.58 million, and a decrease. I don't read that. But the point I'm making is the revenues for property taxes increased by just under $2 million. Okay. Revenues for non-property tax items decreased by $8.24 million. This was primarily due to a decrease in income taxes of approximately $8.34 million and a modest increase in the sales tax of approximately 0.59 million. My point is, all this development going on, all these developers, multi-million dollar wealthy developers buying property here in the city of Yonkers, why did our property taxes only increase by $2 million? And in fact, and I don't have it posted here, there was the decrease there of items. There was a decrease of non-property items by $7 million, and another one I was for 2020 something, 22, I believe. That was due to, again, they said it was due to a bad economy and the economy coming to, plateauing. But why are we getting more money? I mean, all these developers, they're buying these properties, they're building these big developments. These are multi-million dollar properties. Why are our taxes revenue increasing by significantly more? And why is it that our non-real property taxes are decreasing, right? Non-property taxes are real property taxes are sales taxes, sales and use taxes, mortgage taxes, mortgage recording taxes, I should say. And what's the other one? Sales no, I think those are the only two there, right? Mortgage recording taxes and sales and use taxes. That should be going up. There's a lot of work going on, a lot of construction, a lot of materials being bought. Aren't people spending money here in Yonkers buying things? Aren't there a lot of people being hired to work on these construction sites? So why isn't the income tax revenue going up significantly? But you know what has gone up significantly, and a lot of people are probably going to be upset with me about this. The pay, people's pay. One person, I'm not going to mention no names, one person we saw had an increase of $50,000 in 1 year. They got a $50,000 raise. So it's not just the council members, the mayor that are getting raises, but a lot of city employees are getting raises. Some of them are getting ridiculous amounts of raises in 1 year. $50,000. My wife, who works for the city, 3 years, has only gotten maybe a $4,000 increase since she first began working for the city. Some people are getting $30,000, $40,000, and $50,000 raises. What's going on? Can we afford it? As we see that we're not getting a lot of revenue in, even though we were promised a lot of revenue would be coming into the city of Yonkers due to all the construction, jobs, property taxes. We're going to get more money from there. But instead, what they're going to do to supplement, or I should say subsidize, the lack of taxes that these developers are paying and these high salaries, they're going to increase your taxes. The residents of Yonkers will see, I'm hearing 7 to 8% tax increase. We have to. The pandemic money has run out. We are dealing with or carrying over almost $3 billion in debt. We're issuing bonds left and right. And so when people say, oh, you can't be mad at them, I'm not mad at the people. This is not against the people who are making these high salaries. It's not against this police officer, Adam, who's making $312,000. Or the guy below him, the detective, Anthony, he's making $202,000. Another police lieutenant here, Brian's making $271,000. I'm not knocking you guys. I'm just saying these are high salaries. This is environmental maintenance worker, $128,000. Detention officer, $130,000. Just to drive prisoners. You're not actually a police, but you drive prisoners from Yonkers to Valhalla. How does one individual get this $130,000 for this job? Then your wife is working for the city. Then you're getting city contracts also. I only talk about people that do things to me. I know what y'all did with y'all grand opening. Y'all sent me that email. You thought it was funny. Well, I haven't got any more emails from you guys. That was the day the CPS came to my daycare, my after-school program. So let's blow it up. This guy right here connected to Tasha Diaz. That's why he got this gig. That's why his wife got the gig in the Board of Ed. That's why he's getting all those after-school contracts. It's the corruption, folks. That's the problem. So when you complain about your kid's school district not having enough, your son's or daughter's school don't have the proper materials, papers, pencils, or whatever else, the food is disgusting and undercooked. They're overcrowded classrooms. There's lead and asbestos. The HVAC system isn't working. The windows can't open. The desks are falling apart. There's mold in the bathrooms. Lockers are damaged and can't be used. Well, all the money's going to family and friends, people who are getting jobs that they're not qualified for, that they only got because they're connected, or maybe they paid $10,000 for. And that hurts everybody else because your roads suck. The potholes, the bumpy roads all over the city of Yonkers are horrible, damaging to your car, and you still have to deal with it. That's the problem. So I'm not knocking the people making the money. They're just going to do what they're allowed to do. It's like Donald Trump said to Hillary Clinton when she tried to get him on the, tax thing, avoiding taxes. He said, yeah, well, you made it legal, so I'm taking advantage of it, right? That's all. That's all. Some of them earn it, but some don't. 187,000, 314,000, 319,000. Imagine what their pensions are going to look like. So we got to pay them for life. 316,000. And some people say, well, that's overtime too. Well, that overtime is a problem. According to the New York State Comptroller, the city of Yonkers goes over its overtime budget by $4 to $5 million per department. So when they complain about not receiving enough money for the schools from the state, you know why? The state doesn't feel sorry for Yonkers. The state says, well, you guys look like you're making a lot of money over there. Why should we give you more money? I mean, look at how much you're paying your employees. You got to be doing good over there, guys. Tax your employees more or something. You need more money. Reduce the salaries. Stop making up job titles for people. Stop giving your girlfriend a job. Stop giving your brother, your sister, your cousins a job. $50,000 raises. There's people in the city of Yonkers that would be happy to take these jobs for half the amount that these people are getting. They would gladly take half the amount. With that pension, they'll be fine. So hire new people and pay them a little less. We can't afford to start people off at $100,000 anymore. We can't afford it. The pension system is going to collapse. You got guys doing overtime for Con Edison. Sure, Con Edison pays us for those times, but are they paying for the pension that those hours they worked built up into their pension plan? Right? Because now they're making more money with the overtime, so they're averaging in that money also when they end their careers, the last 3 years. That's why a lot of them love to get that overtime. Pump up my last 3 years pay, and boom. Maybe they should cut that out. Maybe they should cut out the overtime then, or not include overtime in the pension. Say just your regular base salary. Any overtime is just your overtime that you get. I mean, and again, and I'm not knocking the people. I'm knocking the way that it's managed. And this affects everybody. We can't even build schools with parking lots anymore or parks. We need to build 2 new schools and we can't afford it. We need to do millions, tens of millions in repairs to our schools and we can't afford it. We need to fix damn near every road in Yonkers and we can't afford it. We got homeless people all over Yonkers. We got people strung out on drugs all over Yonkers. And sure, these developments are going up, but what's that doing really? That's just increasing your rent, which is weird to me because I learned in business school that when you increase the demand, you increase the price. But if the demand goes down and the price goes low, right? So if you increase the supply, then the demand goes down because there's enough for everybody. But if you decrease the supply, the demand goes up because there's not as much for everybody. So the prices go up, right? Because now you got, let's say 10 of whatever item, you got 20 people that want it. Now you're going to say, well, whoever gives me the most money are going to be the 10 that gets it. So if we're building more apartments, if we're increasing the stock, the housing stock, the availability of apartments, why aren't rents going down? Right? There's more affordable housing being built. There's more apartments overall being built right there. So why are the rents going up as well? It should be lessening the demand, and therefore now landlords have to say, listen, there's so much properties people have to choose from now that, you know, we got to lower our rent or asking rent to be more competitive. But that's not what we're seeing here. We're seeing more buildings being built, higher rents all over. Pricing of houses. You want to buy a house? That's going up significantly. But we don't see jobs going up. We don't see our pay going up, and we can't vote for our pay. And most of us don't work for the city, so we don't get the luxury of these unique increases in our pay year after year. Well, for a few, right? So that's why I bring it up. It's not to knock these people. It's just that when you're complaining about all these other things wrong with the city of Yonkers, it's a money thing. We need more programs for the kids. We need more this. We need more that. But we don't have the money because 70% damn near of the city's budget is going to salary. And that's the problem. If we try to remedy this in-house in Yonkers, I doubt anything will change. The community needs to reach out to governor, someone outside and not connected internally to Yonkers. The problem is the governor is most definitely connected to Yonkers. Kathy Hochul has been in Yonkers a lot of times now on both professional and personal visits, right? Nothing like we saw Cuomo do, right? Cuomo wasn't down here. Cuomo wasn't, doing these press conferences in front of different developments with the mayor and council members and developers like Kathy Hochul. Kathy Hochul is a developer. Her husband is a big-time developer up in Buffalo. I'm sure they're all involved in the new Buffalo Stadium, making lots of money, and they're coming down here and making lots of money. That's all she care about. She don't care what Tasha Diaz has to say. She don't care who she threatens. And if she's told this is the way we got to leave it in order for us to facilitate what we're doing here and you to keep making money and for us to keep supporting you up there in Albany and make sure that Yonkers and Westchester, for the most part, votes Kathy Hochul, you got to shut your mouth and not do a damn thing, Kathy. And that's exactly what she's going to do. So what we need to do is continue to make noise. The people need to continue to speak on it. We need to confront Tasha, not aggressively, not like she does. We don't want to threaten to slit her throat. We don't want to threaten to slap the taste out of her mouth, although probably someone should put her in check, but it won't be us because we are nonviolent pacifists, okay? That's who we are. We're just here to express our dissonant, right? Is that how I say it? For our government here. We are here to show our, hatred for the corruption, right? Not for people, but for the corruption here in the city of Yonkers. And it's time that it changes, and we have to come out. We have to vote, right? Who are the people that voted for Tasha Diaz? I mean, you have to do some real soul searching if you voted for Tasha. Who are these people? Who are these people? And a lot of people that support Tasha don't even live in District 3. That's why she's able to do fundraisers up in Pelham with all the wealthy people who wear Gucci shoes and have Hermes belts. That's what I saw at her campaign event in Pelham. I'm like, who are these people? They live in District 3? Never seen them on Riverdale in my life. So who's she really representing, right? Who's she represent? I heard Tasha bought personalized candies for the majority leader's office with the taxpayer funds. Maybe they can serve those candies in school. Well, Tasha has also spent $2,000 on chocolate bars. She's also spent thousands renovating her office when she became the majority leader. She thought she was Queen Elizabeth and went and had her entire office renovated, got a bunch of new furniture and even a brand new refrigerator. She got to eat. She got to have that, what is that, buttered chicken. And then she also got herself a 75-inch TV for her office. Now, what are you doing with a 75-inch TV in your office? It's a part-time job. Did she put it in her office or did she put it in her apartment? Because I hear that she has since removed it. Where did that TV go? Where did that TV go? Come on. Really. Let's we have to see it for what it is, right? Miss Mike Cater, Yonkers needs Mike Cater. Mike Cater's coming back. He's going to run for city council president, I hear. My thing is that here's my only issue with that. Be honest. And, I just speak the truth, Mike. Pardon me. The people that are managing Tasha Diaz's campaign and manages Tasha Diaz are going to be the same people managing Mike Cater. But that confuses me. That's the only issue that confuses me. So, these are people also that are suing me, right? Part of her campaign is suing me for $1 million, right? So I can't, that doesn't make sense to me, right? These are the same people that actually took Mike Cater out. Remember, they're the ones that, created that whole nasty campaign attack against him that included text messages and mailers, phone calls to his wife, neighbors, and anyone else that would listen, saying how bad he was and how he was having an affair with someone. And I'm getting more of this type of information in regards to affairs too. I'm just saying, and I'm wondering who they're coming from. You know who I'm talking to. Like, I'm just, trying to be, you know what I mean? Trying to be a friend. No, and I'm not referring to anyone in the Spano family. Stop it now. Stop it. Stop it. This is absolutely nauseating. It sure is. It really is. It's just unfortunate. So again, folks, I'm Freddie Vasquez. That's what's going on here in the city of Yonkers. Our majority leader, I call her the majority gang leader because she acts like a gang member. I mean, she carries a blade. She's going to slit someone's throat. She's going to slap the taste out of Corazon's mouth. What's that? Arroco gandules? What you going to slap out her mouth? Huh, Tasha? And she even threatened to fuck up John Rubo. F up John Rubo, a man. I wonder what she said about me behind closed doors. Boy, I'm sure it wasn't so nice, Tasha. But I seen Tasha. Tasha's never been like that to me. Tasha does a 180 and heads north, and she sees me coming from the south. If I'm coming from the west, she heads east. You know what I'm saying? So she ain't never expressed that towards me. I know she does her little thing behind the scenes to make my life hell. I know you did that, Tasha. I know you were the one with your little team having Sam Borelli screw my business over and then helping out other individuals who were in the same business as I was, who basically would be my competition. You were making sure they were getting contracts. You made sure they got their license with no fire system. So this is good for you. This is called karma. What goes around comes around, Miss Diaz. And the worse you are, the worse you're going to get. I promise you that. And we're not going to let up. The people are fed up. We're here to stay. Regardless of what you try to do to my family, Tasha, I'm here to stay. And I'm getting so much support from people. And I'm getting so much information. And I'm seeing so much, movement now towards exposing a lot of this. People have been empowered. People are feeling confident. They're feeling safer for releasing information. Thank you to the people who release information through third parties. Some people are just afraid to even contact me. They say, we don't know who's watching you, what they bug, this, that, and the third. Listen, we don't give two craps, all right? Let's do this. It's time to expose the corruption. Tasha Diaz must go. Wake up, Yonkers. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Hey, there goes Mike. Hey, Freddie, I thought you would be like... Yeah, I mean, listen, an offer hasn't been made. I would be, but I can't work around certain people. You know what I'm saying? They suing me. I'm saying they suing me. They beef with me. They hurt my family. You know what I'm saying, Mike? I gotta get, you know what I mean? I gotta get comfortable again. I gotta feel comfortable. That's what I'm saying. I gotta get comfortable. Freddie 2025. Yeah. District 6. We need someone up in District 6 to represent the people. It has become more democratic. I know some people that live in District 6 that may be interested. And it's time that we get the right people in city council. It's time we get people who are not afraid to speak out, who are not afraid to call it like they see it, and who will truly fight for the people, not threaten the people, not fight with the people, but fight for the people, who will inform the people, not lie to the people, not manipulate the people, and work hard to create a real system of checks and balance in the council, which is what their purpose is. But they have been compromised. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Have a beautiful night, folks. Take care. God bless. Good night.
Want somebody butter chicken? In another one, Mr. Rubo lied to me. And I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
Ready, wait.
My dad, Freddie Vasquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
I want to end this quick because I'm greedy and I want someone to butter chicken. So thank you.
Freddie wins.